Imagine waking up every day knowing your paycheck has barely increased in over a decade. While your rent has doubled, you're still waiting for that doctor's appointment from months ago. This is the reality for many people living in the UK. So why would anyone choose to stay in the UK? Welcome to Globi, your go-to channel for geopolitics, where we unravel the intricate web of global politics and economics. Dive deep with us as we explore the power dynamics, economic trends, and pivotal events shaping our world today. Today, we're getting deep into why so many people are deciding to leave the UK. From a declining standard of living to a housing crisis and deteriorating public services, we'll explore the key factors driving this exodus. Stay with us as we break down these issues, provide statistics, and analyze the potential future of living in the UK. One of the primary reasons people are leaving the UK is the declining standard of living. Real wages in the UK have remained flat for over 15 years. This stagnation in income is contrasted sharply with the rising cost of living, particularly in housing. For instance, the average house price in the UK has more than doubled over the past 2 decades. This means that while people's earnings have not increased significantly, the amount they need to spend on basic necessities, especially housing, has skyrocketed. This financial pressure has made it difficult for many to maintain a reasonable quality of life. Young people in particular find it challenging to get on the property ladder, leading to a generation who are unable to afford their own homes. The rental market is also affected, with high demand driving up prices and making it harder for people to find affordable housing. Moreover, the cost of other essentials such as food, energy, and transportation has also been rising. This further squeezes household budgets, leaving less disposable income for leisure activities, savings, and investments. The combination of stagnant wages and rising living costs creates a financial strain that many find untenable, prompting them to seek better opportunities abroad, where the cost of living may be more aligned with their income. In 2002, the average house price was around £120,000. By 2022, this figure had skyrocketed to over £270,000. The Office for National Statistics reports that while wages have seen minimal growth, inflation has caused the cost of essentials like food and utilities to increase significantly. For young professionals, this means their purchasing power has decreased substantially. A junior professional in New York can earn more than double compared to London, with the cost of living only around a third higher. This disparity makes the UK less attractive for young and talented workers who seek better financial opportunities elsewhere. The housing crisis in the UK is another significant issue pushing people to leave. London's councils estimate that more than 1 in 50 people in the city are homeless, a figure that has risen by over 50% in just 10 years. The UK now has the highest level of homelessness in the developed world. The Charity Shelter reports that over 300,000 people are homeless in the UK, including those in temporary accommodation. The Housing Affordability Index shows that the average UK house now costs nearly 8 times the average annual salary, up from around 5 times in the early 2000s. The lack of affordable housing and increasing homelessness rates are pushing people to look for better living conditions in other countries. Public services in the UK, particularly the National Health Service, are facing serious challenges. There is a potential exodus of doctors and nurses due to poor pay, overwork, and deteriorating working conditions. Getting a timely appointment with a GP or dentist has become extremely difficult, with the long waiting times even for emergencies. The Medical Association has reported that nearly 1 in 4 junior doctors are considering leaving the NHS due to poor working conditions and pay. A survey by the Royal College of Nursing found that over 50% of nurses are thinking about leaving the profession due to stress and low pay. This decline in public services is a major factor driving people away from the UK. When essential services like healthcare become unreliable, it's no wonder people look for better options elsewhere. Social isolation and difficulty integrating are also significant factors. Immigrants and non-British born residents often face challenges in building meaningful social connections and relationships with the local population. There is a percentage of social isolation, with some reporting difficulty finding British friends or romantic partners as outsiders. This social barrier can be attributed to cultural differences, language barriers, and social habits that may not be immediately apparent but create a sense of exclusion. Many immigrants find it hard to navigate the social norms and customs that are second nature to those who have grown up in the UK. This can lead to feelings of loneliness and alienation, making it difficult for newcomers to feel at home. There can be an underlying sentiment of being unwelcome or not fully accepted by the local community. Even when immigrants make efforts to integrate, they might still encounter subtle forms of discrimination and prejudice, further exacerbating their sense of isolation. This lack of social support and community can significantly impact their overall well-being and happiness, prompting some to consider relocating to more inclusive and welcoming environments. A study by the Migrant Integration Policy Index found that the UK scores lower than many other European countries on measures of social integration and community cohesion. Reports indicate that nearly 30% of immigrants feel socially isolated and have difficulty integrating into British society. The cultural differences and bureaucracy can make the integration process even more challenging, leading to feelings of alienation and discontent. The UK's complex system of measurements, left-hand driving, and bureaucratic processes can be overwhelming for newcomers. The British culture of banal conversation and tolerance for unconventional social norms can be surprising or off-putting for some. These cultural and bureaucratic hurdles add to the reasons why people might choose to leave the UK for a more straightforward and welcoming environment. Immigrants often struggle with the UK's unique systems and regulations. For instance, the process of obtaining a driver's license or navigating the healthcare system can be particularly challenging. Surveys show that many expatriates find the British bureaucracy to be one of the most difficult aspects of living in the UK. Brexit has had a profound impact on the UK's appeal as a place to live and work. The uncertainty and economic ramifications of Brexit have exacerbated many of the issues we've discussed. For one, the economic instability brought about by Brexit has intensified concerns over the already stagnant wages and rising living costs. Businesses facing uncertainty have become more cautious, often leading to reduced investments and slower job growth. This has further strained the job market, making it harder for both locals and immigrants to find stable and well-paying employment. Moreover, Brexit has complicated the immigration process, making it more difficult for European citizens to move and work in the UK. This has led to a reduction in the diversity of the workforce and has also impacted industries heavily reliant on migrant labor, such as healthcare, agriculture, and hospitality. The resulting labor shortages have not only affected the economy, but also contributed to a perception of the UK as a less welcoming place for immigrants. The social and political climate post-Brexit has also played a role in diminishing the UK's appeal. The divisive nature of the Brexit debate has fostered a sense of uncertainty and unease, particularly among immigrants and non-British-born residents who might feel less secure about their future in the country. The rise in nationalist sentiments and reported increases in xenophobia have further alienated these groups, contributing to their sense of social isolation and difficulty integrating. The UK's economy has faced significant challenges since the Brexit vote, with growth rates lagging behind those of other major economies. The loss of freedom within the EU has made it more difficult for UK citizens to live and work in other European countries and vice versa. Looking forward, the UK's current trajectory suggests that these issues may continue to worsen. If real wages do not increase and the cost of living continues to rise, more people may decide to leave the UK in search of better opportunities. Economic forecasts suggest that without significant policy changes, the UK may continue to experience slow wage growth and high inflation. Predictions indicate that the housing crisis could worsen, with affordability becoming an even greater issue for future generations. What if the UK government took significant steps to address these issues, increasing investment in public services, implementing policies to make the housing more affordable, and fostering a more inclusive society could potentially reverse the trend of people leaving the UK. Increased investment in the NHS could help retain healthcare professionals and improve service quality, reducing waiting times and increasing patient satisfaction. Policies aimed at increasing the supply of affordable housing could help alleviate the housing crisis and reduce homelessness rates. Breaking down these complex issues into simple terms helps us understand why so many people are choosing to leave the UK. By looking at the data and hearing personal stories, we get a clearer picture of the challenges facing the country. First, wages in the UK have not gone up much in over 15 years. People are not earning more money even though they might be working harder. At the same time, the cost of living is going up, especially for housing. For example, the average house price has more than doubled in the past 20 years. This makes it very hard for young people to buy a home. Instead, they have to rent, which takes a big chunk of their income. Next, immigrants and people who were not born in the UK often feel socially isolated. They find it hard to make friends or build relationships and often feel like outsiders. This can lead to loneliness and make people think about moving to places where they feel more accepted. Brexit has made these problems worse. The uncertainty around Brexit has made businesses more cautious, which means fewer jobs and slower wage growth. Stricter immigration rules have made it harder for EU citizens to move to the UK, which affects many industries that rely on foreign workers. The social and political climate has also become more divided, with an increase in nationalist feelings and reports of xenophobia making non-British residents feel even more unwelcome and worried about their future. Personal stories can show why people are leaving the UK. For example, a young professional moved to Germany because they found better job opportunities and a higher quality of life there. In the UK, they dealt with high living costs, long commutes, and fewer job options. Statistics from the Office for National Statistics show that more people are leaving the UK. Many of these are young professionals looking for better work-life balance, higher salaries, and more supportive social systems in countries like Germany, the Netherlands, and Canada. The number of British citizens immigrating has reached its highest level in over a decade, showing that many people are unhappy with the living conditions in the UK. The combination of a declining standard of living, a housing crisis, deteriorating public services, social isolation, and cultural differences is driving people away from the UK. As these issues continue to worsen, it's no wonder that so many people are choosing to seek better opportunities and living conditions elsewhere. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the ever-changing landscape of geopolitics and the economy. If you found value in our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated. Share your thoughts in the comments below and let us know what topics you'd like for us to cover next.